When was the last time you ran a mile? Have you ever trained to run a fast mile? If there's one thing that marathoners, I think, don't do enough of, it's actually running fast. This is Coach Chris, and I'm recording another episode of the Night and Runs podcast. If you listen to the show I put out back in June, I talked about why you should speed train in the summer. I never recommend marathoners train for more than 3 marathons in a row. Because when all you do is slow, long distance runs, you become dull. You lose your sharpness. You can't run as fast anymore. Building a big aerobic base is really, really important to a point. But eventually, once you have that, you need to increase your intensity to actually get faster. It doesn't matter how many 20-mile runs you do if you're not actually working on your speed as well. So, when was the last time you actually ran fast? I put the Night and Lions to the test this summer. I gave them all a 5-week, 1 mile race training program, and we worked towards running fast. The summer and winter is a time when most athletes aren't training for a marathon and they're kind of wondering what to do. Short distance training, 1 mile, 5K, is perfect for the summer. It's what you should be doing if you're training for a fall marathon and a spring marathon. After 5 weeks of giving this mile training program to my coached athletes, all of them PR'd in the mile. We had over a dozen PRs from accomplished marathoners and beginner marathoners. It blew me away. These are people who've qualified for Boston, all the way up to relatively new runners who were training for their first marathon. But every single one of them PR'd after 5 weeks of track training and fartleks that were all designed to get them faster. It exposed a huge gap in my mind that marathoners have in their training. It's that they don't run fast enough, nearly enough. I'm a huge proponent of mileage and long runs and slow, easy distance. But it's just clear to me when you train for marathon after marathon after marathon and don't give equal priority to some of the shorter distances like 5K and 10K, you're leaving a lot on the table. In just 5 weeks, you could PR in the 1 mile run. You could be a Boston qualifier. You could be much faster than that. And very likely in just 5 weeks, you could PR in the 1 mile run. So, my challenge to you, pick a short race, put it on your calendar. This could be a 5K, it could be a 10K, maybe find a local track race and work towards that. Give it equal priority that you give to your longer distances and see if you can make a big breakthrough. Then, as you go about your marathon training each season, think of how you can structure in more faster running into that. You want to be careful. You need to balance the faster running with proper recovery and going slow enough in between the harder efforts so that you can get the effect that you deserve from those harder, faster runs. But don't neglect speed. Most marathoners neglect speed far too much. When I BQ'd in Boston earlier this spring, I actually ran less mileage than I did before, and I did shorter workouts that were faster. And because of that, I was rewarded with a faster marathon time. It's pretty cool. So I've just seen it myself with over a dozen of my athletes that 5 weeks of speed training earned them a new mile PR. And you know what? That mile PR is going to translate to faster 5Ks, 10Ks, halves, and fulls this fall as they focus on their fall races. All right. So I hope your running's going well, but don't forget to run fast. Today's episode is brought to you by the Night and Runs training group on Patreon. If you'd like to support the show and join my online community of runners working to become the best athletes that they can be, check out patreon.com/night and runs. There you can join a private Facebook community to get support from me and the other athletes in the training group about how your training is going. Get your questions answered here on the Night and Runs podcast. Download a whole bunch of training plans that I've put together for beginner, intermediate, and advanced athletes, as well as join us for monthly community calls and Q&As. One other small ask, if you enjoy the show, I'd love it if you could leave a quick and honest review on your listening platform of choice. That really helps a ton in recommending this show to other listeners like you who you think might benefit from it as well. And that's all for this week. Thanks so much for listening. Coming up soon, I've got a series of interviews I'm going to be releasing with fellow coaches in my community, where the two of us are going to be talking about some pretty interesting topics, I think, within the coaching world. Some that we've got lined up are how adult runners can learn from the experiences of high school coaching in cross country and track and field. I'm going to be talking about some of the dogmas in distance running and whether or not we should really be abiding by those or not. And I'm going to be talking with another coach about some of the best lessons that we've learned in our years coaching athletes to be their best. And a whole bunch more coming out soon. So stay tuned. I'll be releasing a Night and Runs podcast episode every single week. So until next time, bye.